Hi, everybody. So as you can see from my screen, I'm Wendy. Just in case you couldn't work out which of us was Wendy and which was Brendan, so I'm Wendy. Really delighted that we've been invited along today. If you don't know about the Business Centre, we are a small business support service. So we are, as Adele said, we are here to help people exactly like you who are looking to start a business and throughout your business journey as well. We're a free resource. We're funded by a local authority, City of London. So we are completely free for you to be able to use. Just to let you know as well that I've actually worked for the service for 20 years and clearly I love it, and I love meeting people just like yourselves who have got that passion and those ideas and that energy for business. So I've stuck around for a long, long time. And I'm going to hand you over to Brendan. He can introduce himself, and he's also going to lead on the session, so I will keep quiet from now on.
Thanks, Wendy. I want to reiterate, just like Wendy said, it's great to be here. I'm really appreciative that you guys have welcomed us here. I'm really excited to kind of just talk to you guys and give you some more information. My beard kind of gives away that I'm not Wendy. And I have also not been working here for 20 years. I'm closing in on a year now, so I guess I'm the kind of the rookie of the team. But it's a lovely service that we offer. We're located right in the heart of London. We're at the Guildhall complex, for those of you who are more familiar with the City of London itself and the square mile. So that's where we're located. My particular role is I am a business advisor. So I work with Wendy quite extensively. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs, pre-startups, small businesses, anyone who's trying to do market research, mostly specializing kind of with the business one-to-ones, but I would say my specialty is more so the databases at this point. And I see Wendy has brought a guest with us as well. So just to kind of give you a little bit of information, what I want to go over today. So we are going to go over the COBRA database, and there's a whole bunch of different kind of functions there and information that we'll go over quite extensively as well. And then from there, if we have time, I would like to show you another one of our databases that we have available at the center called IBIS World. I don't know how much time we're going to have, so that's a maybe, but we'll explain how to access all of this through our center as well. So really, and any questions, if you put them in the chat, I probably won't be checking the chat as it's going on, but if I see the little bubble pop up, I'll answer it. But afterwards, we'll have more than enough time to go through kind of a Q&A, and I'll make sure that I look through some of the questions and everything like that.
Just to interrupt you, Brendan, I can keep an eye on the chat.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah, because I don't want to be like in the middle and then just all of a sudden. Without further ado, I think I'm ready to get started, if that's okay with you guys. I can't really see anyone, so I'll take the silence as a sign to get started. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Fine.
Sorry, Brendan. I'll just jump in for a sec to welcome those who have just arrived. And I just wanted to preface your presentation with some of the things we've been working on leading up to this presentation. So many of you have already followed the instructions in the email and WhatsApp to become a member of the Small Business Research and Enterprise Center. It is completely free, just like a library would be free. Many of you have probably already received an email with your membership number. It's valid for a year. Brendan is going to tell you all about some of the other amazing benefits that come with that membership. But one of the most handy ones is that you can actually access COBRA, the whole COBRA database, from your own computer. So if you have already gotten your membership number, that's what Brendan's now going to teach us to use to sign into COBRA from any device, from your personal device. So if you didn't yet become a member of the SBREC, don't worry, you can do it after this. It takes 5 minutes. Just pay attention to what Brendan shows us, and then you can get your own membership number and sign in yourself in the coming days so that you can do your research on COBRA. So take it away, Brendan.
Yeah, just on Adele's point, I'm actually just going to share a link very quickly in the chat. So that is the membership link. So that brings you right to our membership page. Hopefully everyone can see that. So if you haven't signed up yet, we obviously encourage you to do so. It is free after all, and everything that we'll be going over with COBRA today will be accessible from any computer or device that you have. So yeah, let's get this started. So I will share my screen now. So I hope everyone can see that. Yeah, okay, I see some nods. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is just brought us to our SBREC kind of membership page, the one that I just shared in the link. It can be a little bit difficult to kind of navigate how to get onto COBRA, so I'm just going to bring us over to our database page, because this is kind of where you'll start. So when you're on this online SBREC online databases, we have all of these different tabs here. So available remotely, business startup, company information, et cetera, et cetera. So COBRA being one that is accessible with the free membership, the access membership that we have, will be under the available remotely. So it's just as simple as clicking on it. Now, unfortunately, I'm actually logged in because of the IP address. Let's see if I can log out here. There will be, so you'll get, I'll explain this, but you'll get a membership number when you sign up with us. So it'll be A2, and there'll be quite a few digits afterwards. When you get that, when you get onto the landing page, it'll have a box that will ask you for like a number. That is your membership number for SBREC that you will enter. And once you've entered that number, it will then sign you in. It might be, are we able to send, one thing that we do is when you become a member, we'll also send you instructions with screenshots on how to enter that number as well. But in order to access it, it's just simply going on to our website, going to the available remotely section there, COBRA, and then it'll simply ask you to enter a number. And once you've entered that number, which is your access membership number, you'll have access. So this is the COBRA home screen. So it's the Complete Business Reference Advisor. As you can see here, we have on the left-hand side, we have quite a few different tabs that can kind of get us going through. So what I thought would be a good idea for us to go over today, which is to kind of go over each of these, each of these different kind of tabs, go through the information that's available within them, and just talk about how that's going to be relevant to you. And then at the end, if anyone wants us to look up a specific industry or sector, then if we have time, we can definitely do that, because I think that would be quite helpful as well. So I'm just going to, sorry, I'm just gonna, oh, perfect. I forgot I pulled this up. So this is the logging into, this is the subscription one, but this is something that you'll get looking along these lines. It'll show you when you get the email, and COBRA right there, as you can see, it's just going to ask you for your SBREC number, ticket number. That's going to be your membership number. So let me just, where did I? So I pulled up a bunch of tabs, and the Zoom thing's kind of getting in the way, so I apologize. So first and foremost, oh my God, I'm so sorry about this. How do I'm just trying to hide the toolbar at the top so it doesn't block my tabs. Okay, so I've decided to use the, I'll just go through the tabs. It's much easier that way. So I've decided to go through each one of these, and I've used barbershop or hairstyling, salon, etc. as the just kind of the industry that we're going to use today. So as we can see, I've chosen barbershop. So if you're in, and I'll go through the landing page after, but as you can see in barbershop, there's a kind of a contents page, and it'll give you a whole list of information about it. So introduction, qualifications and skills, key market issues and trends, trade and commercial and legal issues, legislation, and further information. So the reason why this business opportunity profile, and it does this for a whole litany of different professions and industries, the reason why this is so important is because it gives you a lot of top line information about how to get into your industry and some of the the main issues. So for example, in the it'll give you a little bit of a breakdown about who a barber is, what kind of qualifications that you'll need as well. And the great thing with the qualifications and skills is it's actually going to give you all these different links, where to get these qualifications from, where, and it breaks it down even further. So these external links are obviously quite important if you do need certain licenses and skills. It shows you different types of apprentices and opportunities that are within the country. So we have England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and it gives you information about apprenticeships and opportunities there as well. Industry awareness. So if you are looking for more information, if you're just looking to expand your knowledge, if it doesn't really matter what stage of the pre-startup phase you're at, this will give you, so for example, the owner of a barbershop can keep up to date with the developments and improve their awareness and trends by attending events and reading journals and resources. And as you can see here, it's given us a bunch of different kind of industry related information and sites and institutions that are going to be relevant and important to your specific industry. Now, one of the biggest things that comes to developing a business plan, when it comes to actually trying to get the business like up and running, one of the things that we really stress at the Small Business Research Enterprise Center is, of course, market research. So this is a great opportunity for you in the key market issues and trends to actually start getting your feet wet in that kind of area. So just very briefly going over being a barber. So yeah, between 2017 and 2022, the number of independent barbershops in England, Wales, and Scotland rose by 29%. So as we can see, okay, and that can kind of give you information. What does this industry look like? What is the market like? Is it growing? Is there a lot of kind of consolidation amongst only a couple of companies? Is there an opportunity for me? And it gets you asking those types of questions about your particular industry that you're looking for. It talks about, yeah, as we can see here, franchises provide both competition opportunities for startup barbers. So it includes information that's relevant to those who are just in that startup phase, which is why, once again, we stress the importance of COBRA. And then, yeah, as I mentioned before, trading, commercial, legal issues, and it'll just kind of go through here all the licensing that you may need, any trade body memberships that are going to be important for you to get your business up and running. And then obviously here as well, premises, fixtures, and equipment, it's going to go through the cost or kind of the generic costs that's going to start. So when you're trying to do your financial forecast, when you're starting to work on that kind of financial plan, this is a great place for you to kind of get that start and understand, okay, how much capital am I going to need? And depends if you're going to be looking for any types of external funding later. This gives you an idea of how much money that you're going to need to get into the get the equipment or the space or anything that you might need for your particular business. As you can see, there's more kind of, I'm trying to go as fast as possible just because there is a lot to cover. So if I do miss something or you want me to go back, please feel free to just put it in the chat and we can do that after. So yeah, and then there's going to be just kind of other things here, workplace health and safety, which we can also go over because COBRA will actually link to actual legislation if you need to read that as well. So you're never going to be kind of wondering, can I find this? It has pretty much anything kind of legally that you're looking for. It can link you to external sources and it'll tell you what you're looking for as well. And then promoting the business, opportunities for promoting a barbershop, especially if you don't have a marketing background, if that's something where, you know, maybe you think you struggle a little bit, or even if you do have a marketing background, but this is just, it provides you a little bit more of those kind of local resources here where you're able to, so obviously, you know, we have Hair Council, Goods Along Guide, and then, you know, we're living in the year of 2023, so social media is obviously going to be a big aspect of that as well. So, you know, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And then, yeah, it goes over some of the insurance that you might need, the legislation that covers any kind of legal ramifications that you are legal kind of legislation that you have to comply with as well. And then down here as well, we have some further information. So it'll actually link you to other related industries as well. And it will also give you some contact information as well and kind of the governing bodies that exist within the country. So I hope that wasn't too much too soon. I know this is very quick, but this is what we call a business opportunity profile. So if we go over to the, let's start. I've pulled them all up and now they're all. So yeah, okay. So we'll go through the fact sheets. So I'll show you what a fact sheet is. So I just picked a random one. I'll go through here. So this is where they are. The business information fact sheets. As you can see here, there are so many fact sheets, and this is honestly to God, I think this is the best resource that we have in COBRA, because if you are curious about any type of legislation, any questions that you have about setting up your business, pension auto enrollment, right to work checks, setting up payroll, questions that maybe you haven't considered when you're starting your business, because at the end of the day, like you have your expertise, but there's always going to be something that you might not know, or there's might be something where you're a little unsure of. And COBRA here, like the business information fact sheets, really like they're quite thorough. And as you can see, they have the date alongside here that tells you when they were last updated. And as you can tell, a lot of these are very recent. So that's the one thing with COBRA, is they're always constantly updating their information. They're always constantly updating these sheets. So we'll just go with the generic one here, setting up payroll. And this is what these sheets look like. They're only about, anywhere from 3 to 5 pages long. They're not that extensive, but they give you kind of a top level, just guide and summary about how to set this payroll up. So for example, it gives you a little bit of an introduction, just telling you what it is, because there may be a specific instance where you don't actually know whether that's like setting up pensions. Maybe you've never done that before. So it's just going to kind of introduce you to what it is, how to do it. And as you can see here, there's some of your payroll responsibilities. It tells you everything that you need to know. And obviously it's nice, bold and highlighted for you as well. Running payroll for yourself talks, and it gives you kind of the government link. That's one thing that COBRA will really do as well, is anytime there's any kind of governmental or institutional responsibilities, they're always going to have a link for you to go straight to the source. So it's really handy in that regard. As we can see here, we have more useful resources. Once again, we have the related fact sheets. So if it doesn't quite answer your question, there's going to be more. And if you haven't noticed already, but they have these little codes here that tell you BIF, so business information fact sheet. And then, once again, these useful resources here and how to use a payroll provider. So really, really kind of helpful resource, because there's just so much. Like, as you can see, I can scroll through here and there's just so many different business information fact sheets here. So as you can see here as well, on the left-hand side, we have something called industry snapshots and sector updates. So the industry snapshots are going to be a little bit more specific to the actual industry itself, whereas the sector updates are going to be a little bit broader. So if we go to industry snapshots, because we've just been working with kind of barbershops so far, I'll continue with hair and beauty. And the wonderful thing about this is it was updated in July of 2023. So this is about as new as you can possibly get when it comes to the information that we're sharing. So as I open this up as well, it gives me that industry snapshot, tells me, and as you can see, it's going to give you some kind of information here. So it's going to tell me the UK hair and beauty industry is highly competitive, comprising of thousands of self-employed hairdressers and barbers, as well as independent chain and franchise salons. So it can give you a very kind of brief kind of introduction, but this is what I really think is important as well, these visuals, and especially when you're trying to conduct market research, and sometimes it can get a bit dry, and sometimes you're just reading over the same data over and over again. COBRA gives you these concise visuals and graphics that can help you actually visualize, and that's really important, whether that's writing a business plan, having those visuals in there just for yourself, or whether it's an investor, or whether that's someone who might be possibly granting you any kind of, even for even if you're kind of getting lost within the data itself, it's nice to have this just industry at a glance. It's nice, it's concise, it's easy. We can see how many hair and beauty salons are. We can see what the year-to-year increase is. As you can see, the growth in consumer spend, and you're going to see this a lot as well. And the more research that you're doing for your business, but as we can see, 2020 and 2021, that's the COVID dip. So we understand that there's going to be, kind of different financial, but this gives us context as to what happened in that industry at that time. It talks about the most popular treatments. It talks about, year on year for nail care. It gives us, a pie chart here, some information about what the turnover is. So we know, as you can see with salons by turnover, we can see a lot of them are kind of smaller or mid-sized, right? Very few are actually making 250K plus. So it gives us kind of an idea of what these businesses are looking at. If we scroll down, we can look at industry trends. So it's just going to give us some kind of quantitative data as well to help us back up and quantify what we're doing, what we're looking at. And when you're writing a business plan, when you're trying to get your business off the ground, this data is so important because you can stay ahead of the trends within your business and your industry. And a lot of times people, when they're identifying gaps within the market, they don't know where to look. And that's where COBRA really, and I think if I asked Wendy, she would emphasize the same. It really does kind of give you that extra context needed to really help your business grow. In terms of industry outlook, once again, we just have, 6 points here. It talks about the growth in male beauty markets, rising complaints about treatments. So it gives you kind of an understanding about, where is this industry going and how can I plan and how can I adapt moving forward. And then once again, every single one of these is going to have key bodies, further information. So every single kind of resource that is shared within COBRA, there's always going to be more information available. It's always going to give you kind of resources where you know where to go. I feel like I've emphasized that a lot and stressed that a lot, but I really do want to say, like, COBRA does a good job of showing you where to go and giving you enough information to get started.
Can I just interrupt you at this point? Because I think it's a relevant question.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I can't see any of the questions.
Yeah, so. No, that's why I jumped in. So Adele has asked a really good question of what's the difference between Googling how to set up payroll, for example, us looking on COBRA. And I mean, the beauty of COBRA is all the information has already been checked for you. So if you go onto Google, there's brilliant stuff on the internet, but it's sometimes really difficult to know what is accurate, what is current, and what's relevant to the UK. Obviously, the internet is worldwide, so it might look good, but it might be relating to America or Germany, somewhere else. So with COBRA, everything is focused on running a business in the UK. Yes, absolutely, it could be out of date.
I would
sometimes really hard to know. So it's kind of, it does all that searching and filtering for you, so you can rely upon the data that you're getting is the best available data on COBRA.
I would just like to add to Wendy's point there as well, just kind of give like a very topical example, but there could be changes in UK legislation based off Brexit, right? And you could be looking at information depending on what your industry is prior to Brexit that maybe it's outdated. It's obviously such a massive, political event in this country and it changed a lot of legislation, how a lot of businesses and organizations and industries were run. So that's the one thing, even when we have clients come into our center and they ask me questions about certain things, I always find I end up doing a reverse search because they'll show me something that they found and I end up going into one of our databases to verify it. So it just kind of saves you some time there as well, that you're not working backwards. Like, you're using the database itself to source the data instead of finding the data and then going backwards to see if it actually is supported. So that would be my answer, but I think Wendy knocked that out of the park. I think she really kind of highlighted the importance of and the kind of the veracity and kind of the accuracy of this data as well, since as you can see there's just so much, they're going through this all the time. So I hope that answers the question. Perfect. So we'll go to sector updates now. I wish I could see my tabs because I actually had it pulled up, but I think I might just, hair and beauty. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, the hair and beauty, I could export this to a PDF as well, but I'll just keep it kind of on the web page here. But as you can see, it's not nearly as kind of thorough as even the other ones that we went through. It's mostly just a few paragraphs, but it's going to kind of give us just things that are happening within like the larger sector itself. So hair and beauty business is busier, but confidence not yet recovered. And I think the one thing I really stress when writing a business plan or, starting to do your forecasting, when you're starting, and I apologize if you guys are past that phase or not, but during that, yeah, perfect. Okay. So when you're in that phase of like starting to write the business plan, you want to do your forecasting and everything like that. The one thing here, as you can see, It's giving us quantitative data that you can back up. And sometimes it's a good balance between, having this kind of qualitative approach to your business plan. But the one thing that COBRA also does is it sources everything as well. So, it gives us the latest state of the industry survey by National Hair and Beauty Federation found in April 2022 that 41% of businesses were busy or steady. Gives us kind of this information, and now we can source that, right? It gives us exactly about the survey there. Hair and beauty industry faces skills crisis, gives us more about the report there. Soaring energy bills hitting salons hard. I think soaring energy bills have kind of hit every industry very hard. But once again, it talks about the specific context of how it's affected this actual sector. And I think that's going to be really kind of handy for you guys as you're kind of building these business plans, building this out. You'll be able to kind of specify exactly how this is going to impact your industry. So when you're writing and you're looking to do risk management, or, okay, I'm aware that energy costs are going, but what's your plan to combat that? It gives you kind of that extra push to be able to do that. And then, as you can see, new rules for cosmetic interventions, advertising. And then here as well, just a little bit more information at the bottom. Superdrug sees increase in sales at home. But always sourcing. So, and that just leading back to Adele's point there as well about Google, the great thing about COBRA is it's going to give you the source anyways. So it's going to be kind of the thing that you're looking for on Google anyways. I'll just keep moving on. I am trying to be aware of time. So then we have these research briefs. I will pull up hair and beauty once again. So the good thing about the research briefs here, gives you a little introduction, provides a concise index of reliable information sources if it hasn't done that enough already. But industry data, market reports, also includes main trade bodies representing the hair and beauty sector and anything that's relevant to your particular sector as well. And then as you can see here, it gives you a little bit of a blurb telling you exactly what this journal is or what this institution, what this organization is. It tells you where to go for their website. And as you can see, market reports, statistics, news. So even going beyond COBRA's data itself is going to give you more. Trade associations and professional bodies gives you a whole litany of different kind of organizations and associations for you to join, or at least contact if you have any questions about, specific or like industry information. It can even break it down a little bit further for you as well. Sorry, that was all of them. I can't see the thing. But so it's really, this kind of research brief as well. If you're looking for those types of organizations that have more kind of actual industry expertise, you can go beyond COBRA as well. And I think that's just like a really wonderful function on this database. As we move on to local area profiles, I will just use London here. But it gives you kind of a list of England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. So if I click here on England, we'll just go into Greater London, and we'll just click on the Greater London report itself. But this is going to give you everything that is available to you within Greater London. Not to kind of plug ourselves in here as well, but when we scroll down, you'll see the Small Business Research and Enterprise Center. So that's just that's just me throwing a little plug in there. But as you can see, there's so many different support training networks, any kind of information, any kind of organization that will be able to assist you and kind of get you up off the ground, whether that is, training and support startups for early stage firms, depending on your age, provide startup support for people age 16 to 30. Obviously, runs business support programs to help startups become financially sustainable. The London Business Hub provides signposting to sources of advice, support, events, et cetera, et cetera. And then obviously, if you scroll down to us, provides advice, support, training to startups and small firms across London. Another big factor here as well, grants, loans, and equity finance. One thing that I also, myself and Wendy here, we do have access to another database on site that helps with grants, loans, fundings, and everything like that. So it's even beyond COBRA. I know we're doing the COBRA thing, but even beyond COBRA, there are other avenues to be able to find funding. But if you're looking here, if that's one thing that you maybe are struggling with or you don't know where to look, COBRA is a perfect place to start looking and start your search for potential funding down the road. And as you can see here, the City Bridge Trust, Creative UK, Funding London, the Greater London Investment Fund. So it's not just one or two. There's clearly like a whole list here of places that you can start reaching out to and potentially, securing grants, loans, et cetera, et cetera. I will go to the Business Legal Library next. So I will just click on anyone. So once again, it's going to kind of give you a little bit different kind of topics. And so let's just go with consumer protection, for example. As you can see here, it's going to give us all of these fact sheets, business protection from misleading, and it'll actually help us with the legislation. So a lot of these haven't been updated in a while because that means the legislation hasn't changed. But if I were to click on the Consumer Protection Act of 1987, for example, it talks to me about what the Consumer Protection Act is. It tells me further information. It'll give me more related fact sheets as well if I need a little bit more kind of context and information. And then I can also go to view the actual act itself. So if you have any legal questions regarding anything about your business, this is where you want to start. It's a great place for you to just kind of get the, bare bones and understand, what is the legislation that I might need to follow. We're kind of coming up on the end of COBRA here. So I think we might have time to do IBIS World if I can get through these in the next couple of minutes. But sources of business information as well. So you can choose, let's just go with business support, for example. And once again, it's going to give you more source of business information. So if I were to click on access to work, for example, it's just going to give me a little bit of information. Access to Work is a government initiative, funding for disabled people to access practical support. Once again, it's going to give me further information, a telephone number as well. As you can see, this hasn't been updated in a while as well, 2019. So it just means that a lot of these things this is the most up-to-date information that we have for sources for this particular business information. But if I were to go back, once again, it categorizes it based off of what kind of information I'm looking for. Am I looking for sector support, professional trade associations, et cetera? And then lastly, I'll go into events and sorry. There we go. So this is amazing feature that COBRA has as well, is as I'm going through, it's going to give me a bunch of different events. I can go via date, I can go via sector, and it'll tell me the events for each sector. So let's just say I want to look at hair and beauty. Here's all the events that may be coming up. So we have nothing. Oh yeah, there's a couple in 2023 here. Salon International, Professional Beauty North, Olympia Beauty. If I were to click on this, for example, it gives me the date, it tells me what the details of the event are, links me to the website, tells me where the venue is. So if you actually start going out to particular shows, maybe it can be, industry trade shows or anything like that. If you want to start actually branching out and doing those events, if you think that's something that you want to do, COBRA is a great resource to find where these events are happening, start making those connections, making those contacts as well. And yeah, it's always updated, it's up to date. As you, if I were to go back to events, as you can see, sorry, just bear with me a moment. Okay, well, it's not loading, but yeah, it's everything that was here was up to July 15th. So that's 2 days from now. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, yeah, July 15th. So it's going to give you like up until the actual day itself. So even if it was a last minute, you don't know if you want to go, or you don't know, you just on a whim decide you want to check for events, it's going to give you the most up-to-date information. Obviously, tickets based off of the events or whether you're able to attend is up to the event, but COBRA will give you everything that you need up to the day of. So I think that's and then I actually I can't believe I didn't do this, but there is a search function. So yeah, as you can see here, my search history, pet grooming, dogs, pets, mentoring, renting property. So you can see who I've been helping, what kind of clients I've been helping lately. But let's just go with pet grooming, for example.
Just while we're waiting for that to load, Brendan, there is a question for you to give a demo.
Okay.
So let me know when you're ready to do that.
Yeah, you know what? I was just going to say, if you type in something in the search function for your industry sector, it'll pull up everything that's relevant. Yeah, there we go. So there's 61 results that match your search term, pet grooming. It'll refine the list as well. So it'll give me everything that's here on the left-hand side. It'll give me the code for it as well. So business information, fact sheet, business opportunity profiles. And then as you can see, it's going to just list them based off of what's the most kind of relevant to what my search was. So even if you're not sure, you don't want to look through all of those, you can also just kind of shortcut that whole process by doing the search. But yeah, I'm more than happy to do a demo.
Okay, so there was a specific question
Okay.
from Mohammed. Which organization do you recommend to get certification or license oral care products like toothpaste? So I suppose that's going to be in a profile about, I don't know if there is one on oral products. You could have a look at toothpaste maybe.
Yeah, just to save some time, I'm going to type it in quickly just to see.
It might be too specific. We might have to
Yeah.
broaden
The one downfall with COBRA is one, like I'm on COBRA every day. So the one downside is sometimes, because it is a lot of top line, like top level information, sometimes when it comes to specific information, that there can be a bit of a, we'll say, a shortfall there. But yeah, we'll click on dental practice, provide dental treatment prescriptions for, so if there's any types of bodies here, professional development, key market issues.
Yeah, so it'd be within.
Yeah, this is a business information fact sheet, but there are professional bodies and dental committees here. You know, it does kind of provide you some information here as well, dental administrators and managers. So it might be worth checking out these potential bodies, accreditation schemes, medicine.
And I think in the past, what we've seen as well is like sometimes there's several different fact sheets that might be relevant to you, right? So as a toothpaste product, you might like look into like beauty and hygiene product fact sheet, and then also the dentistry fact sheet, right? And like,
yeah, that's why I'm scrolling down to see what the related fact sheets might be. Unfortunately, this one in particular doesn't, but this is actually a really long and big fact sheet. So there is a lot here. But I would say if you're looking in your industry, something like toothpaste, for example, and you can't find a specific thing, the one thing that I do think COBRA does well, like I said, is it provides you so much kind of external sources, you know, and accreditation bodies and institutions that would have that information available. So at least COBRA in that regard does also do a lot of, I guess, like signposting and sending you to the right bodies there.
Yeah, and also just to reiterate what Adele's just said, is that if you look for something and it doesn't have exactly what you're looking for, think about other industries that will have some crossover, because there might be relevant bits from different reports. And actually quite a lot of time, people have to do that anyway. That there isn't something specifically what you're looking for. So think about the bigger picture, what other industries are close, that there will have some overlap, that you can take a bit from this report and a bit from that report.
Yeah, I think just kind of stressing Wendy's point there as well. You know, going through this, I mean, it seemed like a little bit easy just being able to click on this, because I picked a pretty you know, popular and relatively like generic industry. I just selected that, but your industries are all going to vary so much. Your particular you know, business there might not be a one-to-one match on COBRA. And so, yeah, as Wendy and Adele have both stressed, it's one of those things that maybe you have to look at adjacent industries. You have to look at something that might be similar. It might, something along those lines, just because unfortunately, you know, COBRA is not going to have as much of a resource as it is. Sometimes your particular product or service might not be listed under the name that you've given it. So it might just be a matter of looking up things that are potentially similar, that have similar legislation behind it, that have, you know, similar kind of organizational bodies behind it as well.
There is a question from Anil just about the difference between free and paid membership. Yes, quite right, Anil. Paid membership gives you remote access to a lot more of our in-depth databases, which include in-depth market research, leading on from COBRA, company contacts as well. It's much more in-depth. With a paid membership, you can access that remotely, but with the free membership, you can still access it. You just have to come into the centre. So if you're near enough to the city, we're near Moorgate Station, Bank Station, St Paul's, lots of underground stations. So if you can come into the centre, you get full access to all of our specialist data.
And if you do come on site and, you know, your databases, even COBRA can be so intimidating sometimes if you don't know how to use it. So that's, you know, why Wendy and myself, we host these types of webinars to be able to kind of give you that support. If you come into the center as well, we have laminated like fact sheets and user guides to be able to help you. Obviously, we're one of us, if not both of us, are going to be on site to be able to assist you, to get you kind of up and running, to show you just like how to use it, and, you know, explain what each database does, so if you're not sure which one you want to use. So it's not as if you come in, you're on your own, you just have to figure out the database yourself. You know,
and also, just something else to add, on our web page, we've got a link to our YouTube channel that we created to put brief guides. So there are short 5-minute videos on each of our databases to give you another opportunity to learn how to search a database, but also it will give you a flavour, an idea of the other resources that are available at the centre. So it might be worth having a look at that. I'll let Brendan carry on chatting, and I'll just put the link to our YouTube channel in the chat bar.
I think, Wendy, that's a good opportunity, just very quickly, for me to go over to IBIS World quickly, just 3-4 minutes, Adele, if you're fine with that, just to show everyone here. Yeah, perfect. Just to show everyone what another database might look like. It won't be the same kind of speed, obviously, that we just went with COBRA, but I will pull up IBIS World, because this has the market research on this database is well, I don't want to say unparalleled, but it's clearly you know, it's a really good market research tool. So we have kind of a search bar here. It's, you know, kind of similar to Google or anything like that. But if you go industry research, so you can see it has US, Australia, EU, China, and global as well. Then we have UK industry reports that pull through their SIC codes. We have specialized industry reports, business environment profiles. But I'm just going to show you an industry report, because I think really that's at the heart of what I think we should be looking at today. So I'm just going to pull up, mostly just pull up any industry here. So I'll just pull up, let's go with book publishing. So as you can see here, we'll have on the left-hand side, it'll tell us, you know, about, so just give us a brief overview of the industry at a glance, industry performance, outlook, products and markets. It'll tell us what the competitive landscape looks like, who the major companies are, what the operating conditions are, and it'll give us key statistics, the ESG risk score overview, and different types of, and if we're just looking at the about here, you know, it's going to give us an industry definition. It's going to show us what this, and actually visualize what the supply chain looks like. It's going to show us related industries and related international ones. It's going to show us the major players, so Penguin Random House, Shet, RELX, and then main activities as well, similar industries. If I were to go click at industry at a glance, it'll show me how big the market is, the revenue, the profit, It'll, you know, tell us what the key external drivers are. This is what I really think I love about IBIS World. It's going to give us a SWOT analysis of the industry as well. So it's going to give us our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our strengths. It's going to show us what the market segmentation looks like. It's going to show us what the market share is for the major players. And then obviously, as you can see here, the biggest player only controls 9% of the industry. We're going to see what wages look like, key trends, and then it gives us an executive summary as well. If I were to go into industry performance, it's going to start giving me charts showing me what the revenue looks like, what the total online expenditure is. It's going to show me what the current performance looks like. As you can see, there's a bit of COVID dip happens all the time in almost every industry, but as you can see, yeah, the pandemic caused problems for book publishing. It gives us kind of some of that like information, and this is really like I think this is such a like a useful complement to COBRA as well. This COBRA really kind of, if you're not really sure where to look, if you've just kind of gotten started, if you're looking for more legal advice, then or you know, kind of just the landscape in general for your particular industry, COBRA is such a wonderful place to start. And I think once you kind of have, I don't want to say mastered COBRA, but once you've been able to find the information that you're looking for on COBRA, you can complement that with IBIS World, because obviously there's a lot more kind of quantitative data in here. It's much more nuanced for particular industries as well. So it really does help with the market research. So I think that's probably, I mean, yeah, I'll show you like what the industry outlook is quickly, but I do want to actually address some questions and kind of go back to COBRA because I know that's what the main thing is. But yeah, I'll show you just this lastly as well. It'll give us an outlook for the next 5 years as well. So it helps with the projections, especially if that's something you don't know how to forecast, what, you know, maybe scaling up your business would look like down the road. This will give you kind of at least a snapshot as to what the industry might look like 5 years down the line. So it can kind of help you formulate that longer term plan and vision for your business moving forward. It gives us previous year's data as well. And then it talks about what the industry life cycle is. So we can see here that book publishing is obviously mature. You know, it's obviously an old industry. It's been around for a while. It talks about why they've come to that conclusion. So it gives us just a few points here, like market saturation, innovation, consolidation, et cetera. And then it actually, the one thing that it does is it tracks this industry, book publishing, across all other industries. And it'll show, so as you can see, there's these quadrants here. So maturity, decline, quality, growth. As you can see, book publishing is kind of right in the middle there. It's obviously classified as mature, but that way we can kind of see based on, we can get an idea of what industries are growing, which industries are, you know, declining, where they are kind of on the spectrum across the whole of the UK and against other industries, which I think is obviously quite a valuable tool. So I will go back to the COBRA homepage, but I will, Wendy, if you have anything else to add about the databases, otherwise I might stop sharing my screen and just start answering some questions.
Yeah, I guess really the only thing I'd add is just to emphasize the value of this information. If any of you are looking for funding, this will add a huge amount of value to your business plan. It will show potential lenders or investors that you fully understand, you know what's happening in the industry. But equally, if not more importantly, it's a great value to you to have that really good knowledge about what is forecast to happen in your industry, to help you get an understanding of what your customers, what your clients, how they spend their money, consumer behavior, and also all those practical things. So with COBRA, you've got your profiles for your industries and you've got your fact sheets on how to do things. How do I write a marketing plan? How do I forecast my sales? How do I write a cash flow? All those practical things that we all need to start and run a business. This sort of information just is giving you that knowledge, is giving you that data that can help you in that journey. And, you know, Brendan and I, we are business advisors. the email I put in the chat bar earlier on, Brendan and I staff that email account. So if you've got questions and you're not in the centre, just drop us a line, send us an email, and we'll get back to you. We answer it every day. We do only work Monday to Fridays, normal working hours, normal office hours, but we will. So if you send us an email late in the evening, we'll reply to you the next day. But we are here to help you use the resources available at the business centre. So do ask us any questions. And if we don't know, we will signpost you to a relevant organisation or suggested places as well.
I would just like to add as well. So one thing I always like to talk to about or mention to clients and kind of members is you just want your ambition to be matched by your thoroughness, because obviously this is something that, you know, is very important to you. This is obviously this is your business. This is, you know, something that you want to grow and succeed. And so in order to do that, all of this information is available for you, and it's my job, it's Wendy's job, it's, you know, to help you with that at the center. So yeah, helping kind of use this data, understanding where to get it from. That our job is to show you where that data is, like in terms of, you know, this is the database that you need to be using. This is, and you know, we have the user guides here. We have the email address that if you need to drop us a line, we're more than happy to answer questions for you about how, like, what kind of data we have available here and how to use it. If you have questions about COBRA, you're not really sure, you know, once again, this isn't just a one-off, like, oh, you'll never hear from us again. You're more than welcome to email us. You know, it's really our pleasure to be able to help you succeed. So that is all I think I have to say, unless anyone wants to see anything else.
I think we covered all the questions in the chat. If I missed any, do shout out.
I'll stop sharing now if that's okay. Adele, is that fine, or do you think I need to? Yeah,
that's perfect. Thank you so much. Friends, did you feel like, yes, I'm gonna go and look up all of this very important information about my business idea and the industry that I want to break into?
Yes, definitely. Thanks so much. It was really helpful.
Great.
Amazing. Yes. Thank you so much to the SBREC. And now that you're members of the SBREC, just like any entrepreneur in London, it's there to support you. That's its one and only job. And that's what Wendy and Brendan do all day, every day. So, you know, there's not just TERN, there's lots of other organizations out there that are just trying to support ambitious, proactive, intelligent people like you who want to make London a more interesting place to live and employ people and contribute to the economy and make innovative and interesting businesses for all of us to patronize. So thank you so much for coming. And I hope that this is very interesting to you. We will, we can connect you to the SBREC. If you have any further questions after this, just let your TERN coach know. And for now, we can just say thank you so much to Wendy and Brendan for coming to teach us how to use COBRA.